Well, hello, Paul.
Hello, JJ.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
You know, I'm doing quite well myself. It's been a
That's
little
good to
while.
hear.
Yeah, it's been a little
It
while,
has.
hasn't it?
What did we skip one or two? I feel like we missed a couple because of things.
Yeah. Yeah. KubeCon. KubeCon happened. And
KubeCon
then
happened.
last week was a nightmare. And I can't seem to figure out how to turn on our names anymore.
Oh yeah. Are we just pretending last week didn't happen? Is that the route we're going?
I think so. I think
All right.
that's about right. That's about right. Um, there we go. Participant names. I don't know why that moved. That was odd. Um, Yes, hello. This is my name is JJ Asgar, and I'm a developer advocate for the IBM Cloud. And you are
I am Paul Tchaikovsky, and I am a managed OpenShift black belt at Red Hat.
hello, Paul. So, yes, this is our typical Nerd Thursday stream where Paul and I try to do something cloud native, where we're just basically kind of going on an adventure to try to learn something new and or use some technology that we've been, for lack of a better term, informed to use. So this is us actually trying to figure it out. We've had some great. Uh, thanks, Nabel. That's good. Yeah, yes, just normal JJ. Fortunately, um,
Regular everyday JJ.
regular everyday JJ. Um, but yes, so we this is our time to kind of play around with technology and kind of learn how to use something new, and we've done some really interesting previous talks or previous streams of different technologies that actually have influenced presentations that Paul and I have actually done out in the real world. So you get to see um, the real raw here, which is always fun. Um, so Paul,
Yeah.
what are we going to do today?
Um, we are going to play around with Docker. But not just any old Docker. I believe you've been wanting to play around with some multi-architecture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe doing some Docker with ARM and trying to figure out if it's any different. Is this for like Raspberry Pi type stuff or for like super fast like cloud instances? Because I guess there's now like a bunch of ARM out in the world, right? There's the Apple Silicon. Is that ARM?
Yes, it is
Right.
actually the
Right.
M processor is yes.
So there's that. There's Amazon has ARM processors. I think IBM Cloud has ARM processors.
Actually, we don't.
Uh, oh, well, you got Power. That's right. You've got a different
Yeah,
type of,
yeah,
but
power.
it's still like if we can figure out x86 to ARM, then figuring out x86 to Power is probably also easy, right?
Yeah, or the 390X for that matter. The or
390X,
yeah,
all that stuff.
yep. So yeah, in essence, the you're absolutely right. The so a little bit of backstory. Um, my brother is in university, and he's in the robotics program, and he has a little Raspberry Pi that controls a robot. And he came to me and was like, JJ, I'm writing all this Python. There's all these dependencies with Python, and it's really annoying for me to ship my code from my laptop where I'm doing all the work on my IDE to this Raspberry Pi. How do you do this in real life? And I'm like, oh boy, can I tell you some stories of containerization? So that was his first mistake. Um, and I believe that's also called Snable, a masochist. I believe that the term is a masochist. Um, so um,
He
we
puts
spend the
the
last
C in masochist.
nice, nice. Um, we actually we've been doing this for a couple days now, and the basically he was trying to find a way that he could run his application on his laptop and then hand it off to someone else in an easy way. And so I introduced him to Docker. Interestingly enough, he was using WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux, and there's some weirdness with Docker on there. So he ended up having to use Podman, surprisingly enough, to build the container so he could ship it over to someone else to be able to run the container to do the work. Then this morning, oh yeah, the reason why there's some weirdness is he doesn't have admin rights on his WSDL instance. So he couldn't actually install Docker Desktop on there. He could install it inside the VM Docker, but because it can't actually talk to the the PID 0 or PID 1 to spin up the actual Docker socket, because it doesn't have admin rights to talk to Docker, the Docker desktop, we actually discovered using Podman, because it's socketless, was able to build the container, actually run the container in without the problem, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and it's probably a good idea now that Docker's doing that weird thing where they want to charge you for Docker Desktop if you work for a company of a certain size or whatever it is they're doing. But so I run Windows and Whistle 2 here, and I do have Docker Desktop. Yes, you do need Windows admin to install Docker Desktop, but you can also just run regular Docker in a VM. But as you said, there's no PID 0 in a Whistle 2 VM. So usually you find your init scripts and you call it to run from there and just kind of background it to get the Docker daemon running.
Okay.
So it's not too difficult, but it is better to try and get Docker Desktop running. And I think there's a new alternative to Docker Desktop. Is it from Rancher or someone?
There's like 4 of them now.
Right.
Yeah, I've even seen Podman like spinning up a container. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think Podman might have a Windows desktop thing coming out as well. So there's some options.
To answer Snabel's question, is Podman an alternative to Docker Desktop? That's a bit of an onion to peel and make you cry a little bit because it's an onion. The short of it is, Docker Desktop, if you are required to use, if you get caught by the new EULA they have, EULA and EULA that they have, Podman does have an opportunity to answer some of the issues that you might have. They have some really interesting tutorials actually from Red Hat. I think I'm on opensource.com also, that shows you how to move over to Podman. And Podman also has feature parity with the Docker commands. So if you have a bunch of scripts that run Docker already, you can actually just alias Docker to Podman. And then you can just run Docker commands that are actually calling Podman, which is nice. Also, it is rootless too. So back to my brother's use case, because he didn't have access to all those things, we were able to build a container, actually run it locally on his is it WSDL or is it WSL, or how do you say that?
It's WSL. I say whistle.
I say WSDL. Where's WSDL from?
I don't know where you get the D from, dude.
Where is it? Anyway, so it actually works, which is really neat. And he didn't have to worry about Docker or anything like that. And he just literally just installed Podman and he was off to the races. Successfully able to build it as an x86 instance, because that's what his WSDL instance is. And then he pushed it up into Quay, and then he was able to get one of his cohorts to pull it down and actually run. That's pretty good. Snable, that's good stuff. So what's up? That's good. Come on. Really, Paul, you get this perfect opportunity.
JJ, don't ever do that ever again.
What's up?
Jesus Christ.
You miss me. And then, so he's able to pull down the container, and his cohort was able to actually run the container and do the work for it. So today, he was like, JJ, I need this to work on Raspberry Pis. I pulled down the container and it didn't work. What do now? And I'm like, Jamie, or I guess I wasn't supposed to say his name, but anyway, the Raspberry Pi is a different architecture. than x86 that your Wisdom instance is. And he's like, so how do we do that?
Sorry, your what instance?
Wisdom instance.
Whistle.
Whistle.
There's
I'm
no
never gonna
D.
call it. I'm just gonna say Wisdom.
It's literally the word whistle.
I'm gonna be difficult.
All right.
And then we got to talk about cross compilation. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna actually spend some time cross compiling Docker containers. See, Snable gets it. What's up? This is so great. So we're gonna spend some time going ahead and cross compiling, walking through what cross compiling is, and then actually trying to get it to come together. So I also have an ARM instance on AWS where we can actually test out building the same software to make sure it actually comes out how we expect it to, and maybe we can work from there. Thanks, Jamie. We'll see how this goes. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And the final ultimate goal of all of this is to be able to cross compile on GitHub Actions. So every time he pushes any change to his code base, GitHub Actions kicks off, builds the container inside of GitHub Actions, ships the container to Quay, so he can now pull it directly from his x86 box. His cohort can pull it directly from the box if needed, and they can pull it directly to the Raspberry Pi instance with just a Docker pull or a Podman pull or something like that. We're pretty close, but we ran into some weird issues, and that's where we're going to start. Sound good, Paul?
Sounds wonderful.
Awesome. All right, so let me share my screen. Assuming I remember how to do this. I would like to add a source. No, I don't. Share a screen. Screen share. Bring this over here. And bring this up. Okay. Is this big enough? Let's make this a little bit bigger.
Enhance.
Okay. So luckily, I already have the code sitting in front of us. So that makes life a little bit easier.
Right.
And I will hide that because that is very annoying. So as you see here, we have a straightforward Docker file. We do some building. Then we install a requirements.txt that he has here. So I'll go ahead and bring that up here.
All right. So what is this Python API redefined API? What is that?
That is a dependency that he is input inside of his repository that is required for the actual application to run.
Right. But literally, what is it?
Just a bunch of Python. That's all I got.
Okay. But is it like an upstream application? Is it?
Yes.
Did he write it himself?
It's one of his cohorts
somewhere. Okay.
No, and unfortunately we can't access it. That's the reason why it's a tarball inside of the thing. He can pull that down into it, and then he just injects it into the system version of Python that is built. Just to make sure that everyone sees, uname -a. As you can see, we're on ARM64 here. So we pull down 397, which is required. There we go. It's an API to connect over the serial to a UARM port ARM.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we pull down Slim Buster because we actually tried originally to build Python from scratch. That was a mistake. But we did that. We started then we realized we could just pull down the actual version that we were looking for with the Buster underpinning. We go ahead and update everything on there to make sure the cache is up to date. We build Essential inside of it because it turns out one of the requirements when we do the pip install looks for GCC. And being this is ARM, you need to make sure you're running the correct version of GCC and all.
Yeah, so a lot of the Python stuff interfaces with the system level versions of that stuff. So it's pretty common to need to do some, like a little bit of cross-C compilation or something that requires GCC. And like if you're wanting to use like the SSL TLS stuff, often you need to make sure you've got the crypto stuff in from your system down, stuff like that.
So is that like Nokogiri?
It is kind of like Nokogiri in the fact that Nokogiri has a bunch of dependencies on systems. So that's Nokogiri is a Ruby thing that if you ever did any work with Chef, you would be very familiar with.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So then we do this requirements full. If you notice, there's actually there's a requirements file in here, and then there's a requirements full text. Mainly because we discovered there was a difference in, Interesting. Well, originally the requirements.txt had a bunch of dependencies on some backends that we didn't have access to because of the way they have their code. So we created requirements underscore full to have all the dependencies already in there. So the goal of being able to ship the dependencies. So we're still gonna play with requirements.full dot underscore full just because we don't want to step on the other stuff. And we'll kind of go from there.
Right. I still don't fully get the dependencies, the full versus not.
I can't show it, unfortunately. And I realized as soon as I typed it out, I shouldn't have. Once again, I could have given out an API key there. The requirements.txt had some actual hard-coded upstream Git repositories with some keys inside of it.
Okay. So you're saying upstream. Yeah. You're talking about like, you say upstream, people are going to think like open source upstream. You mean like internal proprietary code? Yeah. From private repos.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's why we created that full to make sure we can just rip all that stuff out.
Okay.
Yep. So just to make sure that, we're not crazy. That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and do a podman build, period. It builds. Cool. Right. Yay. So if I really want to, what I can do here is just to prove that this actually works. I can actually do podman run -it -p 5000 with container. As you can see, there it is. Go ahead and curl localhost 5000. Right. Excuse me. And there we go.
Right. So, now, is this an x86 or ARM box?
This is an ARM box.
What am I looking at to see this is an ARM box? Oh, the muli-arch 64. Okay.
So we know we have a running container built with Python, beautifully named test in the title. Geez, what? My cough is killing me today. And we know that with this coming back, it works. So we know our container works. If we really wanted to, we could just ship this one and call it a day, but that's not the goal. The goal is to actually get GitHub Actions to do the work for us.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the repo. So without going into too many details, I kind of already gone pretty deep in it. Here's the repo. As you can see, we stole a Docker build process from some random website like you do for all open source software. And we build everything, set up some registries, check out some code. We use BuildX. So Paul, what's BuildX?
I have no idea.
Well, that's disappointing because I don't either. We're using it, but I actually have no idea what it does. It seems like it's a Docker command that extends to it. Do you mind looking that up for me?
Build X. Oh, so Docker Build X is a CLI plugin that extends the Docker command with the full support of the features provided by Moby Build Kit Builder Toolkit. So basically, it uses Build Kit, which is like an extended, more complex way to build stuff that is better at handling like reusing dependencies and layers and stuff. And I
Oh,
think it can like keep the layer before and after, and just change the layer in the middle and that kind of stuff.
oh, interesting.
A lot of the newer like Cloud Foundry build packs 2.0, etc., are using it, I think, because of that. And I think that might also be how you do multi-arch. I think that's part of BuildX as well.
Oh, okay. You said Moby a second ago, and I was like, didn't that project die?
No, Moby is the open source Docker, because remember they made Docker
Yeah, yeah,
proprietary and open source Moby.
yeah. I just thought it was very confused because I was like, wow, I hadn't heard that in a long time ago.
Yeah, no, it's still there. It's just no one knows about it or cares about it.
Yeah,
Moby's a
Snape.
stinger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snape said it best, right? Okay. Okay. By the way, if you didn't know, Moby Docker, the Docker is a whale. Moby Dick, right? If you never got that one,
What's a Moby Dick?
I hate you
Wasn't that
so
the
much.
shark from Jaws?
I hate you so much. I really do.
We're gonna need a
Gross.
bigger boat.
Oh god. Anyway, so as you see, it's pretty straightforward. It logs into the registry that you want, and then it just builds and pushes it,
Right.
which is pretty cool. But obviously, the whole reason why we're here is that it's not working, right?
Right. Yep.
So if you take a look here at the build process, this is pretty bonkers. We've proven that it does build just fine.
Well, so here's the thing.
Hmm.
You've proven that it builds with Podman just fine. You haven't
Oh,
proven that it builds with Docker just fine.
oh, good call. That's a very good point.
I mean, I have my moments.
Yeah. All right. So I don't remember how to get Docker on things.
Well, is there a Podman action for GitHub? Can we just use that?
Let's find out. GitHub Podman. If not, I have a feeling I need to build something. GitHub. Oh, come on, JJ. Action. Podman login. So this just logs in, it seems. Is that all it does? That looks like it's all it does. Ah, here we go. Ah, there's a build version. Ooh, do we pivot and use Builder instead and Podman to do this?
Well, we need to do one of two things. We need to either verify locally that it works on Docker, or we need to update our action to use Podman. I say we update our action to use Podman because Docker. Oh, did you just bleep me? Good catch.
No. What?
Wait, you didn't bleep me? How did I get bleeped?
I don't know, man.
Huh.
You said Docker and you work for Red Hat. I'm assuming that's how it happened.
Well, I said,
Oh.
I said F Docker, but then it didn't come through on the audio stream.
Yep. Okay.
Have you set up some kind of like anti-Paul profanity filter?
Of course. Why wouldn't I? All right. Here we go.
Let's test it. That is really wrong with you. Whoa. It worked.
Nice. All right.
Holy.
So, Ubuntu pod, or so we're gonna go back over here. Get robot. Get remote -v. Perfect. Get pull origin. Oh, pull compiler main. Excuse me. Of course not. That would be too easy. Give me a second. Jamie, I'm going to add a key to your... Or actually, no, I'll just put it as myself. It's fine. Settings. Excuse me. SSH and GPG keys. SSH key. ID or SSH key. Gen. Cat dot SSH. Come on. SSH. ID pub. There we go. ARM AWS. I like how when I type in AWS, it tries to change it to was WAS. I find that funny.
Holy shit. Oh, that one got through. Breaking news. HashiCorp filed for IPO.
What? Well, I know some friends who are going to be very happy.
Right?
Very, very happy. When are they going to hit the market? Does it say?
I didn't look at that.
Oh.
I just noticed it.
It's like the part that I was most interested in. Git check or git stash. All right, so let's go ahead and go to Docker file. Oh yeah, there were some changes in here. So this was not a good idea, so that broke, so we'll take that out.
Well, hang on. Comment it out so that you know what.
All right,
come on, JJ. No, it's fine. Just leave it now. Doesn't matter.
Too bad. Already done. There we go. All right, just one more time. We're going to do a build. Period. Make sure it all works how we expect it to before we go any farther.
Right.
Bring this back over here. I'm not watching the chat, Paul. Is anyone saying anything?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not watching the chat. I have you in full screen so I can actually see what you're doing.
Fucking useless. Snable's trying to steal my key again. That's understandable. All right. That worked. Got it. Next step. We need to go into GitHub, workflows, Docker image. All right, first thing first, we need to go back to, you're going to want that one.
Build.
I'm going to Podman login first, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good call.
So we're going to do
runs on So you should probably change from latest to 2004 just so you're more
Okay.
specific. It's not a bad thing to be doing.
And then, so we need a username, password, and registry. So what we'll do is here, set paste. Oh, fucking YAML. Grab this. Use that. And we will use this as
Docker username.
Docker username.
And then
password.
Docker password. And then Docker registry. And you'll need to indent those 3 lines. No, I lie. They're fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Something's not right. Oh, yeah. So users should be in line with name. So all 5 lines need to line up with the N. So the U and the W, yeah.
Is that 3?
2. There you go.
All right. So we're going to remove all this because we're going to go to Builder now. I mean, it is nice that it logs in, but it doesn't actually. Oh, so you pushed right. Okay. Read the docs, JJ. Read the docs. All right.
Where's the example?
I know, that's all I care about.
There it is.
There we go. Build a. Okay. Copy. Oh, God. Stupid.
I think only name is wrong.
Only name? Okay.
Yeah, because look how far indented the rest is.
Okay. Yeah. Good call.
Yeah, that lines up with the others. You're good.
All right. So image should actually be Docker image. PNG Docker image. Tag of latest container files of Docker file. Okay, build arcs. That's probably where the money is here in this, right?
Oh, is it env Docker image or is it secrets Docker image?
It should be env because I'm just did this up here with just the environment variable.
Gotcha. So here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've set Docker username and Docker password as environment variables,
Mm-hmm.
if someone sends you a pull request that adds a step that echoes that out, is that going to allow people to see your password?
Absolutely. But it's a private repo and it's a private repo.
Right. But like what I'm saying is you could, where you're doing like below with username password registry, for password, you could do
Secrets.
secrets.docker.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Oh, no, good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Oops.
And I mean, anything you've got as a secret, you should probably do that way, but like the password's the important one.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
Because I think
I knew I kept you around for a reason.
GitHub Actions has some protections around using secrets and trying to echo them out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Multi-arc example. Ah. Job, image, strategy, matrix, arc. Wait. Oh God. Uh. God. Here, let me send this to you too, so you can read it.
No, I can read it. So is it needing more than just?
So it builds the matrix first, right?
Okay.
Then it puts in the steps. So I'm thinking we can pull arc in the right here. Arc with build image. Build action with, yeah. I think we can just throw the arc in there and then put the build args here of the arc that we want. And I think that's all we need.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So we don't need this. We're not actually doing anything too crazy.
So you'll
And
change that to just
arm 7.
arm
Doesn't matter.
7. Well, it won't be a variable.
Oh, it's up there at the top of the file.
Oh, you already have it? Okay.
Yeah. And that's
But is
also,
that but that is that the same?
this right
Because
here.
that's the target platform. That's not the same as Arch, right? Because isn't Arch just like usually like x264 or what?
Oh, yeah. Look, the platform is different here. So maybe I can do this as platform instead. Because the matrix allows platform.
Um,
Yeah, fuck it. Let's try it. Why not? Because platform and arc does kind of fit, right? Like arc is a platform is a subset of arc, if I'm correctly.
I don't know.
It's back from my Ojai days. Yeah. Okay. Git add git status. Git push.
Well, hang on. It's doing some
Hmm.
key move stuff. What's that? Look, install key move dependency.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that user static thing again.
Did you have that in the previous one?
I think it was built inside the what's it called? The fuck is the word?
I don't know.
Action. The action had all that stuff built inside of it. So we actually need to figure out this thing. Where the hell that is. Build.github. I can taste this though, Paul. I can actually taste this. I know we're getting real close.
Stop licking your keyboard.
Shh. Here we go. Here's that latest builder. So what we'll do is we'll do name install latest builder run.
Well, so that's not necessary.
Why?
You see, if you look at your matrix, that's part of the choices,
Oh,
and it's only doing it if. So I don't think you have to do that. So yeah, I would just do the key move because if you,
yeah, no, I'm with you.
yeah,
Excuse me. That's under N.
Emacs, really?
Seeing if you're actually reading.
What is wrong with you, JJ?
All right. There's the user static. Anything else sticks out? Oh, this is just a... Actually, that's not a bad idea. Build it, at the end.
I'll run it at the end.
Yeah, sorry. No?
I mean, maybe, but for now, I just want to see if we can build.
Good point.
Java, what is it doing?
It's all the dependencies for like see Maven and shit.
Oh, that's getting to app stuff, right?
Okay. Yeah. See, I mean, this
all
is
right. So I feel like we might be there.
Close.
Do we need to do a push?
Git and git status, git commit, updating to build push. Oops, git push compiler. Okay. Did I close it? I did, didn't I? That's not what I was expecting. Oh, it's over here. Make that big. Come on. Actions. Oh, come on, really? I was on the wrong branch. All right, here we go. Put on the Jeopardy music. Dog, do you want some chocolate?
Yes, please.
He's looking at me like he does.
Who are you talking to?
My dog's sitting here staring at me.
Oh, you know they're not allowed to eat chocolate, right?
I don't know.
Okay, good. JJ's like, I don't know why. Like every couple of weeks, my new dog dies. I have to get another one. I can't figure it out. Feeds dog more chocolate.
Everybody loves chocolate. Yeah, we actually are building it. I don't actually push it, which is something we're going to have to do.
Yeah, I wasn't worrying about building it. I mean, pushing it. I figured let's solve building it first.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to give you any chocolate.
But it does look like it's working, like it's running an ARM.
Yeah. Things are coming together. It is interesting how we are leveraging Builda to do this, because we've been taught to use like Docker to build everything, like as our main entry point. But leveraging these 3 different applications, or 2, I guess, because we're not using Scopio, actually has its there's an advantageous to it, right? Like it actually does what we need. It's back to the do one thing and one thing well.
Mm-hmm.
Boo. Okay.
Okay. Now, was that the same error that we were getting
I don't think so.
with Docker?
I don't think so. Yes, it was. Even though we see it right here.
No, that's a different error, isn't it?
No,
That's
it's the same
Argon
one.
2 CFFI. We were looking at CFFI just on its own.
I think Jamie and I did see this one earlier. That's the same.
And then have
Okay.
you pasted that specific line into Google?
Not yet. And I will do that now. What? Isn't the whole point of pip? Ugh. Having
Like,
echoes of
is it
phone
definitely
calls.
the same error that they have?
No, none of them are.
Right. So what was the next step you all did?
We changed the requirements from 21 to 20 just to try to get it to install to see if that changed. And I think that's setup tools. Wheel CFI1.
Or was this where you started to do CFFI on its own first?
Yeah, it was. But
Right.
that setup tools, that could be. You want to try to do that upgrade on setup tools again?
Yeah. It's not a bad idea to just do all of that.
You want to do the CFFI or just skip that for now?
Do the upgrade.
Pip setup tools.
Yeah, do the pip 3 install CFFI and see if that can install on its own. Uh-huh. I think Argon 2 FFI does not have ARM64 wheels.
Well, that's not good. So what does that mean?
So I think you might need to build it on its own.
Okay, one more time.
So basically, PyPy is a collection of precompiled wheels. And so when you pip install, it can use those wheels instead of rebuilding it. Why does it compile on the ARM box? You're fucking right. Is it the same version of ARM?
Oh,
Is it like ARM 6 versus ARM 7 or something? I don't know.
maybe. How do we figure that out? Like, how to say what?
So I'm going to look at PyPy. Did you get an error?
No, not yet. Figure out.
So we're looking for Argon to CFFI. Yeah. Here we go. The ARM box is Arch 64, and the Docker action is ARM v7. So you're targeting a different thing, right?
Yeah, so we need to change that to Arch 64, maybe. Is that
I
an
don't
option?
know. What do you like? What is it? What is it you want it to be on?
Hey, Jamie, that's for you, buddy. What's your Raspberry Pi? Can you look up what Raspberry Pis are?
Let's see Arch or ARM in the list of files in the wheels. I don't really know what I'm looking for. So for sure, the
Yeah, it
thing.
was 64. Well, 64-bit or 32-bit, but we need to know what version of ARM Raspberry Pi. Here we go. Hey, Jamie, can you run that for us? Cat proc CPU info.
So let's try and change the architecture in the GitHub action to be Arch 64.
Okay.
And that'll match it to what you have in your VM.
ARM A Arch 64.
Is that correct?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Target platform options. Docker. Target ARM7 unknown.
So you're looking for Arch, not ARM.
I really don't like how it doesn't. You can't figure out what all the different versions are.
So instead of doing platform, can you change it to architecture
Arch?
or whatever it
Yeah.
was?
That the one that we're originally looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe comment that out so
Yep.
we still have it there. Don't worry about the environment variable. Leave that as it is.
I was making sure it was the same one that we had earlier.
Right. So just comment that out and then add a new line that's arch, and then it'll be is it AARM64? No, AAR. Sorry, AA. AARCH64. You were right. Yeah. So save and run that.
What the hell?
Oh yeah, you didn't even change that. So again, just change that, but to be Arch64 as well.
Yeah. That could have been a big problem right there.
That would have just ended up being Arch equals nothing because that variable doesn't exist.
No dog. Do. Hey, if anyone has any questions or thoughts, please don't hesitate to throw them in the chat. We are paying attention. We're just building stuff over and over and over again now. What dog? Deep, there he is. See him on my screen.
Did it fail already?
Yeah, it did, didn't it? No image found. Manifest for architecture's AA64 variant.
Oh god.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
so
the hold on. That's actually looking for the version here. So hold on. That's hub.docker Python. This thing. So all these things, right?
right. So it has ARM64, not Arch64.
Yeah. Of course, it has to be difficult.
But like, what's the fucking shortcut for it? Is it just ARM64?
I think it's just ARM64.
Right.
That would be consistent, maybe. I don't know. Find out. Wait, was it Arch that failed, or was it? God damn, too many windows. Open. This thing. It was.
What are you looking for?
What was the actual? Was it both, or was it just the build arc? Just do ARM64.
I feel like they should be the same. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Me neither. Set up job. Log into Quay. Install QEMU dependency. There we go.
No, look, AMD 64. Oh no, that's because it's looking at the
But the builder is
builder. It's not,
64.
yeah.
That's what we're looking for. So if this is successful, then we know for a fact. Wait, this should be fine, right? Because as long as his Raspberry Pi is a 64-bit, he'll be good. Right?
Yes. I mean, as long as the CPU architecture matches, if this builds, it should work.
Well, I mean, if it's a 32-bit processor and you try to install 64-bit stuff on it, it won't work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As long as the architecture works.
And he did
So
say you
as
can
long
get
as it's
64-bit or 32-bit, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really fudge around with Raspberry Pis all that much, so I don't know for sure, but it seems
I
legit.
keep meaning to.
Don't you have like a shitload of them?
I did. I don't know where they all are. I got really deep into the K3S thing for a little while. That was really neat. I really liked that stuff. But then, OpenShift took over my life, and now, I just do OpenShift stuff. Getting there. Hey, CFFI just installed. There we go. We went through.
Wait, it worked?
So far, the next challenge would be to get this to build on x86 also, right? And then just push both images, so then he can do it on his local laptop and on ARM. But I think that's pretty. I think that was the biggest mountain to climb right there.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Almost there. And Jamie, you can send this to your supervisor. Be like, "Hey, I got these two guys to do my work for me." Nothing really. Oh, okay. Oh well, you're welcome, Jamie. You're welcome. I just saw that. And he's a Texan when he says y'all.
So let's take a look. I probably have to run soon, but I just want to have a quick look at the Docker file again.
All right.
So I have a weird opinion that confuses people
Mm-hmm.
And that is, even in Docker images, I like to do a virtual env.
Really?
Yep. Do you know why?
No.
Because it's easier to do shit in that virtual env without needing to get to being a root user.
Mm.
So I like to create a virtual env as like a non-root user and then do everything there. And what that does is that then allows me to do like a multi-stage and copy the virtual env across.
Mm.
And you can even potentially do that before adding your own package. You can copy your requirements.txt in, build the virtual env, and then copy that into your application image.
Mm-hmm.
And that also means that, see where you're doing like the tar of the tarball here and extracting it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing that pip install into your virtual env, you no longer need the shit you've just untarred here. So if you're then working, if the pip install has gone to a virtual env, what you need is now in the virtual env. And when you go to your clean run image, it's not going to be in there. So
Mm.
there's less cleaning up to do. You also won't need build essentials
Yeah.
because that's almost certainly just a build time requirement, not a runtime requirement.
Yeah.
So that you'll usually end up with a smaller
Yeah.
image. And then the other thing is I find it easier to make the inside of your container look like if you're doing local development. Because if I'm doing local Python development, I'm definitely doing it in the virtual env.
Yep.
And you can sometimes even just, when you're testing, literally Docker volume your existing virtual env into Docker.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, as you're making changes, the changes happening locally and in the container.
No, yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And Jamie, that was what I was talking about, optimizing the stuff, right? Like
Right.
you can get real deep real fast trying to optimize a lot of these things to make it better and smaller and faster. Um, from what I can tell, that's probably a homework assignment for our viewers, I should say. Um, but I think to Paul's point, we're already pushing an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So let's call this. I'm people are begging me to jump into a meeting because we
meetings.
we love on meeting. We live on meetings. But really, I think we're done. I would totally love to add x86 to the build, but that would be really simple, I think. And then you just need to add the push bits as well. But that looks like that would
Yep.
be really simple.
And I'm gonna do that offline
Yeah.
just because I want to finish it. But
Yeah. But
all right,
I think your original Docker build-x would have worked as well. It was the architecture difference that was the problem.
it's fine. We're using Builda
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyway, all right. Say bye, Paul.
All right. Cool. Bye, Paul.
Bye.